Imagine this for a moment. You've just moved into what you believe is your dream home. The paint is fresh, the rooms echo with possibility, and the street outside looks calm, safe, inviting. For a brief moment, you let yourself believe this is it. This is where life finally gets better. But then it happens. The neighbor next door reveals themselves, not as a friend, not as a kind smile when you wave, but as the very thing that begins to make your life unravel. At first, it's small things. A cold stare when you park your car, a muttered complaint about your trash cans being 2 inches off, a slammed door just as you step outside. You think, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day. You give them grace, you stay polite. You tell yourself it will pass, but it doesn't pass. It gets worse. The music turns loud, always at the wrong hour. Their dog barks endlessly, but only when you need peace. They gossip with other neighbors, whispering lies about you that spread like wildfire. Suddenly, people you've never met look at you differently, suspicious, cold, and you realize it's because of them. The home that was supposed to be your sanctuary now feels like a cage. Every day you wake up with tension in your chest, wondering, what will they do today? What new way will they find to ruin my peace? And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. A bad neighbor can poison your entire life. Not just your mornings or your nights, not just your weekends, but your health, your relationships, even your future. Because when you live next to constant negativity, it seeps in. It doesn't just stay on their side of the fence, it crosses over, through walls, through energy, until you carry it with you everywhere you go. Some of you know this already. Maybe you've lived it. Maybe you've had the neighbor from hell, the one who made you consider moving, selling, running, just to breathe again. And maybe you thought you had no choice but to endure it. But what if I told you there was a way out? Not through arguments, not through endless battles, not through lawyers or police reports or screaming matches in the driveway, but through something far stranger, far older, something that sounds so simple you'll laugh when you first hear it. An ancient secret whispered in different cultures in different times, a practice that families used to shield their homes. And it all comes down to one thing: planting a single tree. Yes, a tree. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? How could a tree possibly silence the chaos, the hatred, the constant harassment? How could something so quiet, so ordinary, protect you from the storm raging next door? But listen carefully. For centuries, people have believed that certain trees aren't just plants. They are guardians, living shields, roots in the ground, branches in the sky, standing as silent protectors. Across ancient Egypt, across Asia, across medieval Europe, the belief was the same. The right tree, planted in the right place, could repel evil. It could block hostility. It could draw a line between your peace and their poison. And here's the unsettling part. There are countless stories stretching back generations of families who swore it worked. A farmer who couldn't stop his jealous neighbor from cursing his land until he planted the tree. After that, the crops grew strong, the neighbor weakened, and peace returned. A widow who was tormented by a spiteful household next door until she planted the tree. Within months, the argument stopped, the shouting ceased, and the toxic family eventually moved away. Even soldiers, hardened by war, rested beneath this tree to cleanse themselves of what they carried. Coincidence? Maybe. But when patterns repeat across time and culture, maybe it's not coincidence at all. Maybe it's truth hidden in plain sight. And if you're sitting there now, nodding, thinking of the neighbor who makes your stomach twist every time you see them, you need to hear this. Because this isn't just about superstition, it's about survival. Science already tells us what negativity does to the body. Stress increases blood pressure, constant conflict raises cortisol, eating away at your health. Hostility, even unspoken, can lead to anxiety, insomnia, depression. And where does most of that come from? The environment around you. So what if a simple ritual, planting the right tree in the right place, could cleanse that environment? What if it could shift the energy in your favor? Stay with me, because in a few moments, I'll tell you exactly which tree it is, exactly where to plant it, and exactly why it works.
But first, let me say this. This is your warning. If you are living with a difficult neighbor, if your peace is being drained day by day, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it as just life, because the truth is, it can destroy you slowly, piece by piece. And the longer you let it go, the harder it is to reclaim what you've lost. But if you take action, if you use the ancient wisdom that's been passed down quietly through generations, you might discover a kind of protection you never imagined. A tree, just a tree, and yet, maybe, it's exactly what you need. Stay until the end, because when I reveal its name, you'll never look at it the same way again. Since the dawn of civilization, human beings have looked to nature not just for survival, but for protection. And among all things in nature, trees have always held a special place. Why? Because unlike flowers that bloom and fade, or herbs that wither quickly, trees stand. They endure. They grow taller year after year, sending roots deep into the earth while stretching their branches toward the sky. They are living symbols of stability, guardians of space, witnesses of human life. It's no wonder then that across cultures, people believed trees could influence the lives and personalities of those who lived around them. In ancient China, Feng Shui masters taught that trees weren't just for shade or beauty, they acted as filters of energy. The leaves caught wandering currents of bad luck, the roots locked negativity deep underground, and the branches reached upward, drawing prosperity into the home. A house with healthy, green trees was said to attract harmony. But a house with withered or hostile trees, it was believed to bring quarrels, illness, and financial decline. In India, sacred texts spoke of trees as vessels of divine energy. The peepal tree, for example, was said to cleanse the space around it, removing doshas or imbalances in destiny. Families would plant such trees facing troublesome households, believing it would soften the hearts of those who meant them harm. And across the Americas, indigenous tribes believed trees were mediators between humans and spirits. Certain species were planted intentionally near rival tribes or quarrelsome neighbors, acting as natural shields that protected the family spirit while muting the aggression of others. Even today, fragments of these beliefs remain. Have you ever noticed how some people instinctively plant a hedge, a row of tall shrubs, or even a lone, strong tree between their house and a neighbor they don't get along with? They might call it privacy or landscaping, but deep down, this echoes the same ancient instinct: to create a living barrier, a guardian, to absorb the tension. Feng Shui, in particular, carries this idea further. In its teachings, trees are not just passive decorations. They are active participants in the energy flow of your home. A tree in front of your house doesn't just block a neighbor's view, it blocks the flow of negative qi. Its roots anchor your fortune so it won't be stolen, while its trunk stands as a silent mediator, calming aggression directed toward you. This is why Feng Shui warns carefully: never let a dead tree stand before your house, for that signals decay and attracts misfortune. But the right tree, healthy and vibrant, positioned with intent, it can become your strongest protector. And here lies the hidden, almost taboo part of the tradition. Some masters whisper that planting a specific kind of tree, not just anywhere, but directly facing a hostile neighbor's property, has the power to neutralize their negativity. It's not about revenge. It's not about attack. It's about dissolving the hostility they project, transforming it before it ever reaches you. To outsiders, it may look like landscaping. To those who know, it's a shield. Now that might sound like superstition, but think about it. We already know plants clean the air, remove toxins, balance humidity, even affect our moods. Science agrees that greenery lowers stress, reduces aggression, and fosters calmness. If that's true physically, why not energetically? And so, generation after generation, families whispered the same advice. When words don't work, when arguments never end, when the neighbor's bitterness won't die, plant the tree.
To understand how powerful this can feel, let me tell you a story.
There was once a family, we'll call them the Petersons, a young couple, Emma and Daniel, who finally managed to leave the noise of the city and buy a modest home in the suburbs. It wasn't big, it wasn't luxurious, but it was theirs. They imagined barbecues on the weekend, children playing in the yard, evenings filled with quiet. But their dream didn't last long. From the very first week, they noticed something unsettling. Their next-door neighbor, Mr. Collins, seemed hostile. Not openly violent, but quietly suffocating. If their children laughed outside, Mr. Collins shouted from his porch, "Keep it down!" If Daniel parked his car even slightly near the property line, Mr. Collins banged on the hood. When Emma hung clothes in the backyard, she caught him glaring, arms crossed, as though she had trespassed on some invisible boundary. At first, the Petersons tried politeness. They waved, they smiled, they apologized, but nothing softened him. Soon, the complaints escalated. He filed noise reports with the Homeowners Association. He spread rumors to other neighbors that the Petersons were disrespectful newcomers. Even packages left on their doorstep went mysteriously missing. The home they had dreamed of now felt poisoned. Nights were tense. The children whispered, afraid to play outside. Emma stopped gardening. Daniel dreaded coming home from work. They considered moving, selling the house they had fought so hard to afford. But then, during a visit from Emma's aunt, an older woman steeped in traditional beliefs, they heard something unusual. She walked the property, shook her head, and said, "This isn't just bad luck, it's energy. That man lives in bitterness, and he throws it like stones at your house. You need protection. Not walls, not fences, a tree." At first, Emma laughed at first. A tree against years of hostility? It sounded absurd. But her aunt was insistent. She explained an old teaching. Plant the right tree facing the source of conflict, and it will absorb the poison. Over time, it will soften the enemy's heart, or at the very least, shield you from their anger. Desperate, the Petersons decided to try. With guidance, they chose a specific tree known for resilience and protective energy. They planted it directly between their yard and Mr. Collins' property line. Not a towering oak or a wall-like hedge, but a single strong sapling. They watered it carefully, tended it with intention, and even whispered small prayers when they passed it. At first, nothing changed. Mr. Collins still scowled, still shouted, but slowly, almost too subtly to notice, the atmosphere shifted. The children began playing outside again, and strangely, the neighbors stayed quiet. Weeks passed without a single complaint. Packages started arriving safely. The glares from the porch lessened. Once, Daniel even caught Mr. Collins nodding, not smiling, not friendly, but a gesture that felt almost like reluctant acceptance. Months later, Emma realized something profound. It wasn't just Mr. Collins who had changed. It was their own home. The yard felt lighter, the air calmer. Even inside the house, there was less tension. The family laughed more, slept better, and slowly rebuilt the joy they thought they'd lost. Emma couldn't explain it logically, but deep down she knew it was the tree. Not because it cast shade, not because it blocked a view, but because it stood as a silent guardian absorbing negativity before it seeped into their lives. To this day, the Petersons tell the story with a kind of awe. They say, "It sounds crazy, but planting that tree saved our home. It gave us back our peace." And maybe, just maybe, there's more truth in those old folk beliefs than we're willing to admit. Throughout history, human beings have always sensed that nature has a mysterious influence on human behavior, and nowhere is this more visible than in the presence of trees and plants. From a psychological perspective, greenery has measurable effects on the human mind. Numerous studies prove that when people are exposed to natural elements, especially plants, their heart rate slows, their breathing deepens, and their brain waves shift into calmer patterns. Trees lower stress hormones. Green spaces reduce aggression.
In fact, modern urban planners often encourage planting trees in rough neighborhoods because the presence of greenery alone has been shown to reduce crime rates. Think about that for a moment. Concrete and metal tend to harden us, make us impatient. But trees? They invite us to breathe. They remind us of growth, of patience, of seasons. Even a simple view of leaves swaying in the wind can ease a restless mind. So imagine this effect magnified when a tree is planted intentionally, not just for decoration, but with purpose, to soften hostility, to absorb negativity. A neighbor who constantly fumes, argues, and explodes with anger is unknowingly bathed in the subtle psychological effects of greenery. Without ever realizing it, their aggression begins to lose its edge. But beyond psychology lies symbolism, and symbolism is powerful. In Feng Shui, trees are not mere ornaments, they are energetic tools. Each species carries its own vibration, its own task in the unseen network of qi. Some trees are believed to shield and protect, like guardians at the gate. Some trees are believed to draw away misfortune, acting like sponges for toxic energy. Others symbolize wealth and prosperity, channeling abundance into the home. When ancient people selected which tree to plant, it was never random. Every choice was guided by centuries of belief and observation. A thorny plant might be chosen because its sharp edges cut through negativity. A mulberry might be selected because it symbolizes the reshaping of character, the taming of arrogance, the bending of stubborn hostility. These choices were not made by accident. They were made by families who had lived through battles with difficult neighbors, relentless rivalries, and poisoned relationships. And over generations, they began to see patterns. Certain trees, planted with intention, shifted the atmosphere in ways that words or walls could not. So while modern science might talk about psychological relaxation, ancient wisdom would add, there is energy here, there is power here. Do not underestimate it.
Now let me tell you another story, this one about an elderly man named Howard. Howard had lived in the same modest house for over 30 years. He was retired, quiet, and enjoyed simple routines, reading the newspaper on his porch, sipping tea, and tending to his small vegetable patch. Life was peaceful until a new neighbor moved in. The neighbor was young, hot-tempered, and restless. He threw loud parties late into the night, blasted music that shook the walls, and often mocked Howard for being an old relic. Worse, he frequently picked fights over property lines, over trash bins, even over where Howard's cat wandered. For Howard, every day became a test of patience. He felt trapped in his own home. No matter how politely he asked, nothing changed. The arguments left him drained. He couldn't sleep. His health began to suffer. One afternoon, during a visit from a distant cousin who studied Feng Shui, Howard vented about his misery. The cousin listened quietly, then said something unusual. You cannot fight fire with fire. You need a shield. Plant a tree, a specific one, right here, facing his house. Let the earth do the work for you. Howard was skeptical. At his age, he had little energy for superstition. But he was desperate, so he followed the advice. He planted a small thorny bush, one of the species his cousin recommended, right at the edge of his property, directly aligned with the neighbor's front door. At first, nothing happened. The parties continued, the shouting went on, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to shift. The neighbor seemed less confrontational. The music grew quieter. Weeks passed without a single insult hurled over the fence. Months later, Howard realized something miraculous. The young man had stopped picking fights altogether. The hostility that once poisoned the air had thinned like smoke dissipating in the wind. Howard could breathe again. He slept better. His blood pressure returned to normal. He often sat on his porch, gazing at the little bush that had grown stronger each week, and whispered, "You are my silent guardian."
To outsiders, it was just a plant. To Howard, it was proof that nature has a way of intervening where words fail. He believed, truly believed, that the tree acted as an invisible shield, absorbing conflict, redirecting aggression, and giving him back his peace. And who could argue with the results? Now we come to the part you've been waiting for, the secret revealed. What is this mysterious plant? According to different traditions, two trees in particular are often named. The first is the thorny plant. Its sharp leaves and protective energy are said to stop hostile vibrations in their tracks. Just as its thorns defend it in the natural world, so too does it defend the household it stands before. To plant it facing a troublesome neighbor is to say, your anger stops here, your poison cannot pass. The second is the mulberry tree. In many cultures, mulberry carries the symbolism of discipline and transformation. Its very name is tied to the act of weaving and reshaping. When planted with intent, it is believed to reshape the behavior of those who radiate conflict, bending their aggression into silence, their arrogance into calm. The method is simple yet profound. Choose a healthy sapling of one of these species. Plant it directly aligned with the front door or main windows of the hostile neighbor's house. Care for it as you would any other tree. Water it, tend to it, let it grow naturally. And then, wait. You do not need to confront. You do not need to shout. The plant becomes your quiet ally, your invisible shield. Over weeks and months, the change will not come like lightning. It will come like dawn, gradual but undeniable. And the most mysterious part? The neighbor may never realize why their hostility is fading. They may never know why the tension in their chest lessens, why the urge to quarrel weakens. But you will know. Because the peace you feel returning to your home, the calmness in your yard, the harmony in your life, that is no coincidence. That is the ancient secret at work. And so I leave you with this. A neighbor may never know why their heart has softened, but you will. For you planted the shield, and the shield has done its work. This is the secret few masters dare to speak out loud.
Sometimes the answers to life's greatest struggles don't come in the form of arguments, confrontations, or battles of pride. Sometimes the solution arrives quietly, almost invisibly, like a tree. Think about it. You could spend endless hours in conflict with a difficult neighbor. You could raise your voice, hire lawyers, or even move away. And yet, the negativity would linger inside you long after the battle's end. But what if, instead, the solution was silent? What if it was as simple as placing a living guardian into the soil? Something that asks for nothing but water and sunlight, and yet works tirelessly to shield your home. That is the lesson hidden within this ancient secret. The power of the tree isn't only in its roots or its branches, it's in what it represents. Patience, endurance, silent strength. The ability to stand tall against storms without ever raising its voice. And maybe that's what we all need to remember. That harmony is not always achieved by force. Peace does not always come from winning an argument. Sometimes, peace arrives because we choose a path of subtle wisdom, a path that honors traditions older than memory itself. If you decide to try this, do it not with anger, not with revenge in your heart, but with the quiet intention of reclaiming your own peace. Plant the tree, care for it, and let it become your ally. Watch how the energy shifts around you, and notice how even small changes in your environment create ripples in your life. Because in the end, it's not only about silencing a hostile neighbor. It's about protecting your home, your family, and your spirit. It's about saying this space belongs to peace, and peace will remain here. So here is my invitation to you. Try it. Give yourself permission to believe in the wisdom that generations before us cherished. Sometimes the smallest acts that seem almost too simple,
open the door to the greatest transformations. And if one tree has the power to restore harmony with the person living right next to you, just imagine what other forgotten practices might do for your relationships, your fortune, even the direction of your life. That, my friend, is where we're headed next. Because in the following video, I will reveal something even more extraordinary. A single object, not a tree, but a symbol so ancient and so powerful that mystics once called it the golden key to destiny. If a tree can change a neighborhood, this next secret might change the course of your entire life. Stay with me. The journey has only begun.